Election day in the United States has come and gone, and there is no winner, at least not yet. While Joe Biden says he's confident he's on track to win, Donald Trump has gone one step further. He's claimed a victory and says he's ready to go to the Supreme Court to challenge that result. Now, millions of ballots are still being counted, and races in key swing states are yet to be called. But here's how things stand tonight. Joe Biden has 238 Electoral College votes. Donald Trump has 213. 270 are needed to claim victory. Now, key battlegrounds are still up in the air, and these include the three states known as the Rust Belt: Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
As the race came down to the wire, the U.S. president made an eagerly awaited appearance at the White House. It soon became apparent he wasn't in the mood to celebrate.
The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good. Such a vote, such a success.
Despite key states not declaring results and millions of mail-in votes still not tallied, Mr. Trump said it's clear he's won and has vowed to take the result to the nation's top court.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Mr. Trump spoke shortly after Joe Biden said he was confident of winning once all the votes were counted.
We feel good about where we are. We really do. I'm here to tell you tonight, we believe we're on track to win this election. We knew because of the unprecedented early vote and the mail-in vote that it's going to take a while. It's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people. But I'm optimistic about this outcome.
Separating both men from the White House, races in key battleground states. But a conclusive result could take a while. 100 million Americans voted early because of the pandemic, and tallying those votes could take days.
It's a normal process. We've never had to count this large number of mail-in ballots and have an in-person election. So we thought that we had timed it right. But truthfully, we've never done it before this.
Despite fears of violence and chaos, voting day was largely smooth. Record-long queues snaked outside polling stations, many observing safe distancing and wearing masks. Exit polls show most people cited the economy as the issue that concerned them the most, while 4 out of 10 thought America's handling of the pandemic was going very badly.
Correspondents Don Tan and Simon Marks explain the implications of Mr. Trump's unprecedented remarks.
And let's be clear about what President Donald Trump is doing. He is currently the man who is losing this election, right? In the Electoral College, where one candidate or the other has to reach 270 votes, Joe Biden is ahead, and Arizona is a big assist for Joe Biden in getting him towards 270 votes. So the man who is currently losing the election is claiming that he has won the election and that he wants counting to stop, and that he's going to go to the Supreme Court. He claims to do something at the Supreme Court. It's very unclear what he's going to ask the Supreme Court to do. I mean, there are laws that the Supreme Court as recently as last week upheld on the counting of postal votes. There are 4 states essentially that are still in play: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania and Georgia. If Joe Biden wins 2 of those 4 states, he's going to become the next president. If Joe Biden loses 3 or 4 of those states, Donald Trump will win 4 more years in the office. I mean, those are the rules of the game. But President Trump, with this extraordinary intervention at the White House tonight, really puts the United States on an entirely uncharted, and I think the vast majority of analysts would argue, very, very hazardous path here, with the president essentially saying that he's won and that any further results that show that actually he's lost won't have legitimacy because, as he's hinting there, he thinks there are going to be dirty tricks with postal votes. I mean, it's very, very hard to overstate the seismic nature of what's been happening here tonight and what may very well be happening on the streets of the country when dawn arrives and people wake up to hear exactly what President Trump had to say tonight.
We knew that this scenario potentially could have played out even before what happened tonight. It was really about the mathematics, and one has to wonder what the president was doing as he was looking at those numbers in terms of the numbers of states that he was winning, in terms of the number of electoral college votes that he was getting, when it would have been the right time to actually come out with that so-called informal, and which became formal, victory speech. It was tantamount to a victory speech held in the East Room of the White House, which is unprecedented in and of itself. Some people even saying it may not be entirely legal for a presidential candidate to use the White House in that way.
Well, Nina Maria Potts joins us live right now from Washington, D.C. Now, Nina, voting largely was smooth today, but are there concerns that Mr. Trump's speech perhaps could trigger unrest in the next few days?
Well, I think Americans are waking up to the realization that there is no clear winner. And to give you a sense of the atmosphere here in Washington, D.C., where there was heightened security, tensions were running high, shop windows and businesses were boarded up, and the streets were basically a ghost town. This morning, Americans, I think, are wondering what the political future of this country is going to look like. And while it's true that President Trump is claiming victory, and he's certainly not won this election, neither rival, neither candidate has won. But both men are short of the 270 votes that they need in the Electoral College, with everything to play for, as we've said before. Several battleground states have to come into, sharper focus. Wisconsin, there's some indication that Biden may have won Wisconsin just narrowly, but we're also looking at Pennsylvania very closely, in Michigan. So I think there is everything to play for. President Trump has certainly signaled that he is going to take this to the Supreme Court, and his speech was definitely feisty. But in one sense, it's no different from anything he said going into this election, when he had a 1 in 10 chance of winning. And I think the big takeaway from the results that have come in so far is that President Trump has actually done a lot better than many people expected. This was not the landslide that Joe Biden and Democrats were hoping for.
Yeah, certainly it's a very close run race and still some way to go before we know the result. Given, though, the president's language and how he said he would take it to the Supreme Court, is the Biden camp ready for a legal battle?
The Biden camp has also been lawyering up. So this lining up of legal teams has been happening on both sides. The difference between the two has been a question of tone, really, because President Trump has sounded bullish. He's claimed victory before we really know what's genuinely happening in those key battleground states. Joe Biden struck a note of optimism. He wants every vote counted. He wants the democratic process to play out as it should, and called on his supporters to be patient. President Trump is not patient. He wants a conclusion to this, and I suppose the surprise is that he is claiming victory before we really know the result, and he is also trailing Joe Biden, obviously, with the Electoral College votes. He hasn't quite caught up.
Now, Nina, all eyes clearly now on the key battleground states, namely Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. Where do you think we can expect results?
I think we're expecting to hear results probably by about Friday, although with the way that this election has gone, I think no one wants to make any firm predictions. Pennsylvania took in its last votes at 8 p.m. On Election Day, the final day of voting, and it will deliver its results by 5 p.m. on Friday. But I think counting will be slow. Officials have been warning that this is a lengthy, difficult process. This is an election like no other, as we've said many times before. Americans have been very determined to vote through this pandemic. And Republicans, I think, have been very disappointed, clearly, judging by President Trump's rhetoric, that they haven't been able to limit the expanded means of voting that developed as this election was being planned out and organized. But yes, I mean, there's certainly a very different tone from both camps, and certainly both sides are lawyering up.